This is interesting as we are talking about what one player on defense had to say about the possibility of Lamar Jackson not playing versus the Rams, as well as what Adam Schefter had to say about the possibility of Lamar Jackson playing, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press the subscribe button now, as roughly 61.4% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not pressing that subscribe button. All I'm saying is if you're already watching, might as well press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, I want to say congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers on winning their matchup. I apologize for this video getting here so late, probably a whole day late, like around midnight or so of October 9th, October 10th kind of overnight video, because I was out a little bit celebrating, watching the Dodgers move on and get ready for the NLCS. Obviously an incredible, iconic, legendary matchup versus the Phillies. Crazy game. If you haven't seen it, go check out some highlights of how that game ended, especially. Sorry for all you non-Dodger fans out there, but just wanted to throw it out there. Congrats to them, because that's why I'm a little bit late on this video. But speaking a little bit more about what we're talking about here on today's video, Adam Schefter shares latest update on Lamar Jackson's chances of playing versus the Rams, and it's not looking good for Jackson heading into Sunday Ravens game. And I think most of us have already kind of anticipated this, right? I don't think anyone was really expecting Lamar Jackson to play in this game. So overall, it's not really much of a surprise what we're talking about. More of like just kind of establishing and officially making it known that Lamar Jackson's probably not going to play. But what did Jared Verse have to say about it? Well, the Rams outside linebacker, Jared Verse said he'd be effing furious if Lamar Jackson doesn't play Sunday. Says Lamar is on his sack bucket list, as well as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Quote unquote, he owes me a couple. So very interesting stuff there to hear Jared Verse say that I'm going to be effing furious if he doesn't play, because typically when you're talking about other players, injuries and whatnot, you might say, well, unfortunate, want to compete against the best, but hey, we'll compete at whoever we're playing against. I'm going to go sack that quarterback regardless of who the quarterback is. Instead, Jared Verse goes a much different route, as he always does, in terms of anything he does on the football field and off of it. He does some different things there, and he's saying, hey, look, I want to sack Lamar Jackson. I was hoping we can play him so I can sack Lamar Jackson. So very interesting perspective from the Rams star defender here. But speaking more on whether or not Lamar Jackson will play, look, if anyone's worried about Lamar Jackson playing, there has yet to be a single report indicating that Jackson will play on Sunday, with Jay Glazer, Ian Rappaport, and now Schefter indicating he's a long shot to suit up. If Jackson misses his second straight game, it'll most likely be Cooper Rush at quarterback again for Baltimore. Tyler Huntley is also on the roster, but Rush was Jackson's replacement last week. Rush started for the Ravens against the Texans in Week 5, throwing for 179 yards and 0 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. The Ravens lost 44-10, struggling on both sides of the football. I will say, seeing some of Cooper Rush's games back when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Ultimately, Cooper Rush is not someone to be super concerned about, I don't think. He's a decent backup quarterback, but it's just such an interesting scenario for the Baltimore Ravens specifically, because they have a very specific play style, and I don't think Cooper Rush really fits that play style at all. So you would think maybe they'd go the Tyler Huntley route, so I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that, and I'd actually be a little bit more concerned about this Ravens matchup if Tyler Huntley goes out there and does some Lamar Jackson-esque stuff like he's done in the past. So very interesting to see there. Obviously nowhere near Lamar Jackson's talent, don't get me wrong, but I'd be more worried about Tyler Huntley rather than Cooper Rush. Either way, the Rams should be able to take care of business against this Baltimore Ravens team that is heavily depleted. Excuse me. So that's where it is with the Rams. I'm hoping that they can go into Baltimore, take care of business. We'll wait and see on what they end up doing. And whether or not Lamar Jackson plays, I'm not really anticipating him playing here. I want to double check to see the full quote from Adam Schefter here. We can pull this up. He says, it's not tracking to be this week. Right now, unless he somehow makes some surprising turnaround. When the Ravens practiced yesterday, he was not out there due to that hamstring injury that sidelined him last week. Let's keep in mind that the Ravens have a bye after this week, so if Jackson doesn't play this week, he would get 2 weeks of rest, that ailing hamstring, and it certainly seems like that seems to be the way it is tracking right now. So overall, again, not really much concern here in regard to what is going on with Lamar Jackson. Looks like they're probably going to rest him this week. So you're looking at Tyler Huntley or Cooper Rush. And either way, again, the Rams should be able to take care of business. It's a very depleted Ravens team, so they got to make sure they take care of business regardless, right, at the end of the day. So moving on from that, speaking a little bit on, injuries, right? We're talking a little bit about the Rams injuries here and what they're dealing with on their end. So guys who did not participate in practice as of Thursday, October 9th, Rob Havenstein dealing with an ankle injury, and Omar Spates high ankle sprain did not practice on Wednesday. And I think it's kind of up in the air on Thursday. I'm sure. I thought I could have sworn I got an update that they didn't practice on Thursday either. But either way, that's not what this says here. I think they did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. So very interesting update there for the Rams. They're dealing with their own set of injuries. And then Tutu Atwell was also added to the injury report. He was limited at practice. He was actually a full participant on Wednesday, then went to limited on Thursday. So a negative change from Wednesday to Thursday in terms of his participation in practice. Tyler Higbee, hip was a do not practice on Wednesday, but was limited on Thursday. So that's improvement for him. And then Colby Parkinson in concussion protocol along with Nate Landman dealing with ankle soreness. They're both limited on Wednesday and Thursday. So good news for overall the Rams side of things in terms of injuries. I think they are dealing with more positive news here on their front in terms of injuries. So that's good to see. Obviously, the Rams, you want to see guys like Tyler Higbee out there, Colby Parkinson maybe as well, maybe the rookie as well, Terrence Ferguson. The reason why is because the Ravens seem to be dealing with some issues in terms of their interior of the defense. All over the defense, obviously, they're dealing with issues, but the tight end especially, running backs out the backfield, that kind of is not really the Rams' MO, but if the Rams can get busy in the passing game with tight ends and running backs in the passing game, this matchup, it might be a pretty good way to go versus this Ravens defense. We'll wait and see if that's the route they do take. I know they obviously are going to feed Puka and Devontae heavy in this game, so the Rams should take care of business again against a depleted Baltimore Ravens team. That's what scares you, though. They need to, all that good stuff. The Ravens are also desperate on their end, so we'll wait and see how this game matches up. Let me know how you guys feel about this matchup so far. I'll give my full predictions more like on Saturday, but let me know how you guys are feeling so far about this Baltimore Ravens matchup for the Rams this upcoming Sunday. And then moving on from that, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, we ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. We give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Last episode's trivia of the day, this was a question we asked everyone. We said, who was the youngest quarterback to ever start a Super Bowl? We had some multiple choice options for you all. It was A, Jalen Hurts, B, Ben Roethlisberger, C, Patrick Mahomes, or D, Dan Marino. A few of you guys did play along with the trivia of the day. Here were your trivia guesses. We had Thomas. He said it would be a good idea to extend him now, talking about what we were talking about last episode, which was the Rams safety, Quentin Lake, getting extended potentially. They're saying extend him. Thomas is saying extend him now. Waiting for him instead of waiting for him to do a lot and want more money. Trivia question, he says Dan Marino. Lags says Dan Marino, question mark for trivia. The Real J Will says I'm gonna say Dan Marino. Welcome back, The Real J Will. Happy to see you back in the comments. And Anna Kins says Big Ben. I know because I just saw a little documentary about him. Floyd says Dan Marino, and Sheldon says Dan Marino. So a couple different guesses here. Anna Kins just watched a documentary. She says it's Big Ben. So what is the actual correct answer for this trivia of the day? The trivia of the day was, who was the youngest quarterbacks to ever start in a Super Bowl? The correct answer was actually Dan Marino. Not who won a Super Bowl, Anna Kins, who started in a youngest quarterback to ever start in a Super Bowl. So, yes, Anakin, you are right. Ben Roethlisberger, this might be a spoiler for a future trivia question, but Ben Roethlisberger was actually the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl, but who was the youngest to start in a Super Bowl? It was Dan Marino, and it was pretty close, I think. He was 23 years and 4 months and 5 days. Ben Roethlisberger was 23 years, and 11 months and 3 days. So pretty close, few months off there, but special shout out to everyone who got it correct. Thomas, looks like, Lags, the real J Will, Floyd, and Sheldon all got it correct. Appreciate all of you guys. Special shout out to you guys for getting it correctly, but appreciate everyone who played along with today's trivia of the day. If you guys saw a trivia of the day, you're like, that was easy, I can get that one. Play along with today's trivia of the day, so that way you can get a shout out just like these folks got on the next episode that we're on here at the Rams Digest. Today's trivia of the day is going to be this question here. Which quarterback is the only one in NFL history to beat Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees in the playoffs? Which quarterback is the only one in NFL history to beat Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees? Three of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, might I add. Which one of these quarterbacks is the only one that beats all three? Was it A, Eli Manning? Was it B, Joe Flacco? Was it C, Nick Foles? Or was it D, Mark Sanchez? Yikes about Mark Sanchez, huh? But which quarterback is the only one in NFL history to beat Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees in the playoffs? Was it A, Eli Manning, B, Joe Flacco, C, Nick Foles, or D, Mark Sanchez? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether they're right or whether they're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.